we've heard that Surrey County Council is considering declaring a major incident for its public services. And that means that key workers in areas such as the NHS and the police would get priority access to fuel. You show your card, you get to the head of the queue. And I'd like to find out what, as a whole, our viewers panel thinks on this. So let me come to the wall. Should key workers get access to fuel over other people? Can I see those who agree that key workers should get priority over everybody else? Hands up, please. I can see a lot of hands going up there. This sounds, yeah, this looks like a policy that somebody in government might want to adopt. But before we test that, let me come to Sharon Dillon on our viewers panel. And Sharon, you work in the NHS. What did you think? I think you had your hand up.
Yes, I mean, I would like to think that key workers would have priority because it makes common sense. We've got to keep the country going. But remember, this situation wasn't our making. We didn't ask for this situation. And it is, you know, it is a direct failing of the government that we've got at the moment. Absolutely direct failing, and they've got to take responsibility for that. I mean, the question, I haven't seen Boris at the moment. No one has come forward. Where is Boris? Why has he not come forward? You know, we're a national crisis here. NHS workers have got enough to cope with, and we should now have to be putting our card forward just to get fuel. It's not fair. We didn't ask for this situation, and we should not, you know, be putting this put out there that we've got to do these things. So, you know, government ministers have got a lot to answer for, and I think we need answers, and we need them quick, and we need a solution.
Sharon, I can't answer the question about quite where the Prime Minister is tonight, but I think we have to imagine that he's speaking through the Secretary of State, George Eustice. Let's just deal with the immediate question, George Eustice. Why can't you give key workers priority? It's clearly something that would be popular.
Well, I can understand why people would have sympathy for that argument, but actually the real solution is to calm the situation down and get people buying fuel normally again. The truth is that there is no shortage of fuel. We have the same amount of fuel being produced in refineries in this country, same amount of fuel in storage, and also deliveries have kept going. You know, there's been some shortage. What's actually caused this current issue with queues at filling stations and filling stations running out is that there's been a panic buying episode. We saw that during the COVID situation as well. We saw on Saturday sales of petrol increased by about 50% over norms. Now, it started to ease down. It's now down to about 20% above norms. So people are calming down, and as those who are anxious fill their tanks, we will see this calm down. And the focus of the government is to try to get things back into normal order, calm people down, allow the supply chains to move.
But with respect, you've been saying that for a week, and there are 2 points, I think, which are made. One is that there may be enough fuel in the country as a whole, but a lot of it is in the wrong places. And secondly, people have been driving past petrol stations which are dry since last week. This hasn't happened since Saturday. So you can't really blame the consumers for this, can you?
Well, I'm not blaming the consumer. What I'm saying is what happened is on around Thursday of last week, there were some forecourts that announced that they didn't have enough distribution to be able to get to all of their forecourts, so they closed some of them. It was a very small number overall. That then got widespread coverage in the media. And I don't blame the media, that's what the media do. But as a result of that, we then saw panic buying and a surge in demand of 50%. That's what's caused this issue. And it's only really when, just as we saw with the food panic buying episode early in the pandemic, it's only when we get over that things will return to normal.
OK, let's just deal with tonight's issue. Do you agree with what seems to be coming out of Surrey and what clearly is the view of our viewers panel that key workers should get priority?
Well, it'll be an individual. Really, individual businesses will sort of make that decision. When we had issues with food supply during the pandemic, some retailers chose, for instance, to have an hour at the day where they prioritised NHS workers and the elderly. It's possible that some will choose to do that. But, the focus of the government is actually to get enough supplies there so that we don't have to do that.
But businesses will be looking at government, and what they will want to know is if they decided to do that, would the government feel that that was an OK thing to do, or would the government say this is another way of winding up the panic?
No, it's something that they would do. So some are already, for instance, some petrol garages are already putting a limit on sales, so a £30 cap on what can be bought. Now, there's two sides of that. On the one hand, it potentially makes the petrol they've got go further and the fuel they've got go further in a situation where people are panic buying. But there's also a problem that it could exacerbate queues and that people join the queue at one filling station,
so which
get
way are you
half
going?
a tank.
Do it or not do it?
On balance, I think these things overcomplicate things, and what we should be focusing on is getting people back to behaving normally, refuelling in a normal way, and making sure that we get those supplies into that. We're leaving no stone unturned to ensure we can do that.
Let me come back to you, Sharon Dillon. Secretary of State's not opposed to, but he's pretty lukewarm about the idea of key workers getting priority. What do you feel about that?
I mean, he said a lot of things, but at the end of the day, where's the leadership? I mean, why, all you've stated so far is it's the media, it's the customers taking too much. At the end of the day, where is your leadership and where are you stating, where do we stand as key workers? Are you going to give us priority, yes or no? I mean, why is it left to the individual forecourt to decide? Again, why can't the government now make a decision and do something constructive instead of blaming everybody else, not actually looking at themselves? Because it is their failing. We should not be put in this situation. I should not have this conversation with you right now, but I am, because you failed. Simple. You simply failed.
Well, you failed.
The answer is to, as I said, get the
no,
supply demand.
But she's saying, come on, she's heard that. She's saying, make a decision. Tell us that you're in favour of it or not. Don't go missing.
Well, what I'm saying is I don't think it's helpful to overcomplicate things, and what we should be focused on is making sure that we get the supplies back in to these garages and actually get the demand levels down to normal levels. It's already gone from a 50% increase down to yesterday it was about 20% above normal levels. There's signs that this is calming down now and that people are getting back to normal buying habits. As soon as they do, this situation will be resolved.